Yo guys, what is going on? Blossom is back and welcome back to another episode of Top Drives. Now, over here as you can see, you guys know him already, Mula. This is my best World Expo Legendary. That being said though, the second best World Expo Legendary is the new boy in my garage, as I would like to introduce you to the Ultima RS. So yeah, obviously the finals just ended. I didn't really do much about it. Like I did the autobiography for the car, and I think I did the prelim playthrough, but then I didn't do anything else. No final gameplay, none of that. I didn't even reviewed the pack. I mean, overall, the Alfa Romeo pack that was, 2010 or whatever, like it was like 2010 to 2019, I think it was, something like that, and like 1980 to 1989, something along those lines, I think, or was it 1990 to 1999, something like that. The pack was okay. Like there was nothing wrong with it. What was wrong with this event was the fact that if you didn't have a Stelvio, you were basically like screwed, like especially for that GeForce track set. So guys, let me know down in the comments below, how did you feel about that update? Did you like it? Did you hate it? At the end of the day, I don't think it was as terrible as I expected it to be, because there were a lot of hands that I saw that actually won the Ultima RS without the Stelvio Quadrifoglio. I think the best representation, or the best example of that, was that I ended second in my final, and the player that was actually in third actually didn't have the Stelvio Quadrifoglio. That being said though, you need a really strong hand of 4 other cars to survive without the Stelvio Quadrifoglio, which is pretty insane. But before I show you more about what cars I used to win the Ultima RS, I actually recorded me opening the pack. So before we get into the hand, let's get into me unpacking this bad boy. And good times. I was really happy with that pull, but I want to just go back to saying, because I know that some people are already immediately going to be like, I bless him, like, the salty ones. They'll be like, oh, you must have had an easy bracket if someone without the Stelvio actually won it. Well, here's the thing though, the person that didn't own the Stelvio, his hand was basically 2 of these, 2 max TZ3s, and then he had a maxed out TZ3 Corsa, and last but not least, he had a maxed out Giulia Quadrifoglio. I don't know if I still have a screenshot of that hand, but if I do, I'll show it right here. But if I don't, then you can just take my word for it. It was a really good hand. Now, also, earlier on I said that the pack was pretty decent. It was pretty good. Like the epics were pretty nice. There wasn't anything wrong with it. All the legendaries were really strong. I know that people that pulled the 155 GTA, hello Wyatt, this car wasn't very useful in the final, and honestly it wasn't. But as a saloon collector, and the car is good MRA, the car has good handling, the 4-wheel drive kind of makes it useless though. It makes, what's interesting is this though, if the 155 GTA was rear wheel drive, I'm pretty sure that this car would be epic. And I think it's really stupid that the car is legendary because of four-wheel drive, because that's literally the most useless. Pairing four-wheel drive and slick tires is the most useless thing ever, unless every other day Hutch wants to introduce events where it's slick tire times 5 and it's all rain. Then outside of that, like, it's just going to be useless, dude. So yeah, that's really sad. I feel like this one is more of the RQ80, you know, but it's 83 because, you know, a herder four-wheel drive. But anyway, it was a pretty decent pack at the end of the day, and I wish I could have unpacked myself a Giulia Quadrifoglio. It's a really beautiful car. I'm a saloon collector. Would have been a great addition to my garage, but obviously the car that I want now is the GTA, and you couldn't unpack that from, you know, the finals carbon fiber. So I didn't really open any. I opened one and I got some useless ultra rare. But let me show you my hand. So obviously 4 out of the 5 cars you can literally see in the top 6 cars over here. Obviously I was an owner of the Stelvio Quadrifoglio, and funnily, is that even a word? Funny enough, there were about 6 maxed out Stelvio Quadrifoglios in my bracket, which is pretty insane. So that was just all the more reason for me to not even bother, you know, putting any upgrades into my Quadrifoglio, because I was like, okay, let me think about it, right? The top 7 in my bracket, well, the top 8 in my bracket, 6 of them had max Quadrifoglios. One of them was me with a 1-star, and the other one was the guy in 3rd place that didn't even have it. I was like, you know what, I could win without this. The main thing was, you know, I had the Pandion. The Pandion was actually my X factor, because a lot of people in my bracket actually had 2 max out Stradalis as well, but the Pandion was able to beat the RQ64. And the last card that I was using was actually this one right here, the GTV Cup, mainly because, like, there wasn't a lot of RQ to use. If I could, I would probably put in the Ultima if I could use it, or obviously the 4C Spider, which a lot of people were running. A lot of people were running the 4C Spider, so that's why the Pandion was kind of my X factor, because the Pandion was actually able to beat that 4C Spider, but it was also able to beat a lot of other epics that a lot of people had, like the Disco Volante as well as the 8C Spider. I tell you what, man, the Disco Volante would have been so much better before the MRA nerf. It used to have really good MRA, now it's kind of crap. So because of that, like, the Pandion was actually pretty decent. But yeah, I would say that it was a group effort at the end of the day, you know. Like, the Quadrifoglio was huge because basically anyone that didn't have a Quadrifoglio couldn't race me, because they would just lose by monumental amounts. And then obviously the 2 TZ3s, one I have 233, and the other one I have Drag Spec. This is a really good card to Drag Spec. It's kind of like the Italian version of the Corvette Lingenfelter, but it's just slightly not as good. But overall, it was a really good event. Obviously that Ultima, well, it was a really good event for me. I think for most people, you know, having that Quadrifoglio Gatekeeper was a huge low blow. But at the same time, a lot of people that I saw that complained about, you know, not having the Quadrifoglio, yes, it gave you a lot of added stress. But at least everyone I know that actually had that, that didn't have the Stelvio Quadrifoglio, that complained and also had a really good hand outside of the Quadrifoglio. So, because I knew a lot of people that didn't have it and they had the Nuvola, but, you know, even though they didn't have the Nuvola, they had 2 of the max 79 epics, and they had the legendary. Like, they won the car in the end, okay? It wasn't tier 1. But they won the car in the end. But yeah, dude, I mean, I can only imagine being on the other end of the spectrum and not having the Quadrifoglio. That must have been the most stressful event of your life. Like, I feel for you. That's the thing. I feel for you. But yeah, World Expo, man, that's my second best now, the Ultima RS, only behind Müller. It's a pretty good collection. I got 12 legendary World Expo cars now, from Müller to, you know, the Hennessy to the Ultima. The Hennessy is the car that I want to max out next. I mean, I have 2 upgrades into this already. I really want to max out, you know, my Venom GT Spider. If I'm going to max out, I'm going to go 699. And there is a reason for why I'm going 699, not 996. Hopefully you guys can figure it out without, you know, me telling it to your face. But yeah, pretty cool. But anyway, guys, that was basically just the journey. I was really happy to get that prize car. It was a really good prize car at the end of the day. Let me know down in the comments below what you think is going to be the next prize car. But of course, a little bit of gameplay day, Japanese performance tire car, so let's get straight into it. If I remember correctly, the hand I'm using is the track edition, the Hayabusa. I say the hand that I'm using like I've already joined, but I haven't. And then 49 and 48, I really cannot remember what was the rest of the hand. Oh yes, I was doing this, and then whatever was a 60, yeah, I was using this, okay. Like, obviously, like, like hands always change the longer I'm in an event. It's very rare where the hand that I use to join an event actually ends up being the hand that, you know, I finish with, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I think this was like a pretty good hand right now. Let's see what we can do. And also, guys, let me know down in the comments below if clubs, you know, the counter has been counting down a lot slower than usual. I don't know if Hutch changed it or if the game is running slower. I would like to give the benefit of the doubt where Hutch didn't even change the countdown timer and that the game is just running slower, because I don't know why every time an update is around the corner, the game just runs slower. Like in the beginning of Top Drives, that used to be like a gimmick. Like that used to be a thing that people used to be excited about. Like, oh my god, servers have shut down. That's because, you know, a new update is coming, blah blah blah, because, you know, Hutch is testing the servers or whatever the hell they're doing. But now it's just getting old, man. This game is like, what, almost 6, oh no, not almost, but 5.5 years old. You would think that they would have fixed it by now. But to be fair though, I think for most people, the game is running slower than usual. But to me, the game hasn't been running that slow. I mean, as you can see over here, yeah, there you go. I mean, this is about the usual speed for me. It isn't that slow. It's just clubs in particular. That countdown timer seems to be, I don't know. Like, I stared at the countdown timer. If only you saw me do this, okay? Because it was the dumbest thing ever. But I was staring at the countdown timer in clubs to make sure that, you know, I wasn't being deceived. Like, you know, the timer was, even, you know, going slower than usual. But it wasn't. You know, I was staring at it, and then I was staring at the countdown timer because I have a million Top Drives club streams on YouTube. So I was staring at the countdown timer from, you know, the countdown in my own, you know, club stream, and then at the same time I was staring at the countdown timer, you know, in my own clubs on my own phone playing currently, and like there was no difference. Like it was going down at the same time. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know why clubs feel slower for me. There has to be some kind of issue. If anybody knows, let me know down in the comments below. But you know, obviously as always with these gameplay events, I'm just talking on autopilot while playing on autopilot. Like I'm putting more thought in what I'm saying than in the actual event that I'm playing. I got a pretty strong hand, so I don't really care. Yeah, last but not least, yeah, this looks easy, very, very easy. I'm actually surprised that I've not come across anyone with a max Hayabusa yet, because I feel like the Hayabusa is a car that a lot of players probably have maxed, mainly because it was one of the key cars for the Apollo Intenza Emozione. Also one of my favorite. I really want that to get a picture change. Seriously, please, Hutch, change the picture of the Apollo Intenza Emozione. Like the picture isn't bad, it's just that it could be so much better. The Intenza Emozione is such a beautiful car. Like if the Intenza Emozione had a picture change and it looked just slightly nicer, I'd max it. Honestly, I would max it. I mean, like, it's not bad. It's not bad. It's just, it's a white background, and I do not like white backgrounds. Like, if it was like a rolling shot, I feel like it would be so much nicer. But I guess, you know, I can't be too picky. It's still a pretty HD car, you know. Sorry, not HD car. It's a pretty HD photo. It's pretty high res. You can see the entire thing. Like, it's not a bad photo by any means. It's just that it could have been better. It could have been better. But yeah, it's a really good car. There's something about these 96s. Obviously, like the Intenza Emozione has the handling, the Ultima RS has the MRA. I mean, it's tough, you know, like which one do I want to upgrade? The McLaren Senna is kind of in between the Ultima RS and the Intenza Emozione, which kind of drops the stocks of the Senna. Like the Senna isn't that good anymore, mainly because if I want a twisty car that's RQ96, I will go Apollo Intenza Emozione. And if I want a fast car that's RQ96 that also handles, I might as well just go Ultima RS now. You know what I mean? Like the Ultima RS is a better hybrid. Obviously if I just want a fast 96, I'll just go with the Bugatti, you know, Bugatti things, or even like the EXP or the Hennessy or the Jesko, which are even lower in RQ. But yeah, and one more thing that I wanted to state. I said that the Alpha would be better than the Ultima if the Ultima didn't have the MRA. But the Ultima has 106 MRA, so yeah, without a doubt, the Ultima is the better car compared to the 164 Pro car on the faster stuff and the hybrid stuff. The interesting thing is the 164 Pro car is still better than the Ultima RS on the twistier stuff like car park and slalom, and that's mainly because they have the same handling score, but the Pro car has a 0.1 second lower 0 to 60 compared to the Ultima RS, not to mention that the Pro car actually is the lighter car. 675 almost like kilometers, 675 kilograms compared to the Ultima RS's 897. Obviously I don't have my Ultima Max, but if you max out the Ultima RS, the Pro car is still going to be lighter. That being said though, man, I'm really happy with the win. I'm really happy with that Ultima. It's a great addition to my garage. I love rear wheel drive cars, whether it's slick tire, whether it's performance tires, because I'm getting the bang for my buck. I'm not getting some overrated, overinflated car mainly because it has four-wheel drive. No, that is what I expect from an RQ96. It's a very strong car. But anyway, guys, that's going to be it for today. Let me know down in the comments below what you think the next prize car is going to be. I hope you guys have a great day. Stay safe, wash your hands, and blossom out. Peace.
Bro, this song just makes me so happy.
Me too.
Imagine being Asian in the 50s, looking nifty, leather jacket, looking sleek, look like Presley, look so deadly. Got a jukebox back at home, feeling jazzy, turn it on and play it slow, like the movies with the ladies.
They so fine.
Imagine being Asian in the 50s, looking nifty, leather jacket, looking sleek, look like Presley, look so deadly. Got a jukebox back at home, feeling jazzy, turn it on and play it slow, like the movies with the ladies.
They so fine.
Sit back,